a great pleasure and an honor to be here with you today. So thank you very much for your time today. And this visit, which is exclusively for Ghana, I'm not making this as part of a tour of Africa, I'm just coming to Ghana from Europe and then I'll be back to Europe, is to signal our very strong commitment to the country at this time, where Ghana is working very hard to overcome some of the challenges that it has, and which have been due in a significant part to the very difficult international environment that the country and the region has been facing. And this reconfirmation of our support is also a vote of confidence on Ghana's future. We are confident that working hard and in joint manner between the government and the private sector, Ghana will be out of this situation and will re-embark on the growth path that it had before COVID and the other crises that hit the country, the region, and the world. And this is a very important message that I want to transmit: our strong commitment to Ghana, in our positive view on the future of Ghana. We see great opportunities in the country, opportunities coming from what digitalization can bring, from what sustainability can bring. I know, Mr. President, that you were nominated by the Secretary General of the United Nations for this sort of Sustainable Development Goal agenda. I also had the pleasure on the private sector side of being nominated by the Secretary General as co-chair of the Global Alliance of Private Investors for Sustainable Development, whose task is to put together financial solutions so that we can scale up the financing for the Sustainable Development Goals towards emerging markets and developing economies. And this is a task where we're working very closely together with many private sector partners, with multilateral development banks, and with the United Nations in trying to push forward on this endeavor. And in Ghana, we continue to invest. We have a very talented group of people, of local bankers, led by Mansars, our CEO, and under the leadership of Ebenezer as a group chairman. Incredibly, hardworking people and very talented bankers. And we see great opportunities here, as I mentioned, on digitalization and sustainability. We have been making investments to launch quite soon a platform for the financing of micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises, which I think it can be quite transformational. And Ghana plays a very important role, not only for itself, but also for the West African region. So again, we have our cluster there, and we are working together with the neighboring countries, with Ghana at the center. So these are a couple of things I wanted to mention. Perhaps one final thing about Standard Chartered. I mentioned our role in the Sustainable Development Agenda with the United Nations, but we were also very privileged to have been the only bank in the world invited to the Global Sovereign Debt Roundtable that has recently been instituted by the President of the G20, by the President of the World Bank, and by the head of the IMF, together with the borrowing countries, but also with the ministers of finance of the key advanced economies in the world, including the United States and Europe and China, etc., and where only one bank in the world has been invited to form part of that, which is Standard Chartered, to discuss how to better recalibrate the framework for sovereign debt restructuring in those cases where this is needed. So we have a voice in the table which combines our banking experience with our experience in working with governments from many parts of the world who have been under sovereign debt restructuring processes, like it is the case in Ghana. And I want to congratulate you for the successful domestic debt exchange that you have achieved, and wish you all the very best to the next leg of the process and on the delivery of the IMF program. With those tools, I am very confident that in the hard work of everybody inside Ghana, that Ghana will come back to grow and develop as the country and its people deserve.
So for generations, we all came to meet Standard Chartered as a very important bank working here. And I would say that over the whole period, the contribution you have made to the development of our country is a very valuable contribution and one that is well appreciated. The reach of the bank and the manner in which it interacted with government as well as with the people of the country has been exemplary, and we're happy that we've now come on board to take over the whole worldwide operation. And your background tells us that it's going to be very beneficial to everybody involved, including us here in Ghana. One of the issues you've identified are issues of great concern to us. The debt restructuring, which we have begun and are continuing. Ability to grow our economy in a sustainable manner for the immediate and foreseeable future. Suffices that our and that note has been taken by people like you, and strengthen your resolve to try and also contribute positively to our development. We're very committed to the program for the digitalization of our economy and of our state. It's something that has the full backing of this. In fact, it is a particular baby of our Vice President, who's been extremely upfront in pushing the whole program as wide as successfully as possible. So you can imagine that it's at the heart of this government's economic program. We believe that the opportunities in this country are immense. I think structured, the opportunity for private sector development and of our economy are considerable. This government is fully committed to doing whatever it can to aid the private sector, both domestic and foreign, to work in this competitive an environment as possible, to make it, to enable the private sector to be able to contribute to the growth of our economy. We believe strongly that ultimately it is the strength of the private sector in Ghana that will determine Ghana's future and its prospects. So a bank like yours that has had lots of experience here as well as around the world in providing the products that enable private sector operators to work is a bank whose contribution and association we value very much. We're happy to have you here on board. You have some very outstanding individuals who are holding your flag here in Ghana, and people who are well known to us here in government and have the respect of the government. So we put all of these things together. We think that we have the basis for a very strong relationship. It's a relationship that we value, and we want to see that relationship grow and be extended. I think the point you've made about the potential regional impact of the activities is also important, because we are seriously committed to whatever is necessary to do to promote the integration of West Africa, indeed of the larger African continent, but the immediate goal of finding a way to strengthen the economic interdependence and links between the various countries of ECOWAS is a major national policy priority for us. We think that this market, which is now some 350 to 400 million people in West Africa, provides a solid market for Ghanaian entrepreneurs within the region to be able that has that understanding as a bank that should be able to prosper in these circumstances. So welcome. Thank you very much for coming. And I don't know how long you're here for.
I'm here for a couple of days,
Okay.
But with strong engagement with, with yourself and authorities, also with our top clients, with our staff,
Okay.
and top talent and top management team in the bank. So all of this very, very rewarding. And I wanted to just go on the last mention you made on trade.